watched from Washington as a rare and symbolic voyage threaded its way through one of the world's most strategic choke points, the Strait of Hormuz, over the night of April 2425. A 142-meter superyacht named Nord departed Dubai Marina, transited the strait, and arrived in Muscat on April 26, a journey that would normally draw little attention, but which this week landed squarely in the center of a widening geopolitical drama. The United States has been operating a maritime pressure campaign aimed at choking off Iranian oil revenues since mid-April, when the administration announced a blockade of Iran-linked shipping that drew global pushback and heightened tensions around the Hormuz corridor. That enforcement posture has included interdictions, shadowing by warships, and a legal effort to seize vessels and cargoes alleged to be carrying, say, sanctioned oil. Against that backdrop, it was striking to see a vessel connected to a sanctioned Russian oligarch move through waters where traffic has otherwise thinned and where navies on all sides are watching closely. From maritimenews.com https://www.maritimenews.com/maritime-risk-advisory-Iran/Strait-Hormuz-tentative-recovery-UT mean. Iran's top diplomat moved at the same time. Abbas Araqi, Iran's foreign minister, was in Russia for high-level meetings on April 27 as Tehran continued to deepen diplomatic contacts with partners beyond the West. In a public account of his travel and the exchanges he carried, Araqi invoked a message from Iran's supreme leader and used the trip to underscore Iran's ties with Moscow. To capture the tone he conveyed, in his own words, he said, "That last week I received a message from the Supreme Leader of Iran. I would like to ask you to convey my sincerest thanks for this and confirm that Russia, as well as Iran, intends to continue our strategic relations. I would like to announce my gratitude. I ask you to reflect on this and confirm that Russia, as well as Iran, intends to continue our strategic relations. We see how courageously and heroically the people of Iran fight for their independence and sovereignty. And of course, we hope that based on this courage and desire for independence, the Iranian people will pass this difficult period of trial under the leadership of a new leader and peace will come. We will do our best to take all necessary actions in order to benefit the people of our two countries, the people of the entire region, and to establish peace, Mr. President. I am very happy to see you again in the beautiful city of St. Petersburg. Mr. President, I would like to thank you for congratulating us on the election of our new leader. During this trip, you asked me to confirm that the Iranian-Russian relations are strategic partnership at the highest level for us, and this is how we will move forward. Our Iranian-Russian relations will continue no matter what happens. As you pointed out, the world has now realized that the real power of Iran is in the hands of the United States Army. It has become clear that the Islamic Republic of Iran is a stable and powerful regime. As you pointed out, the whole world has been proven that the Iranian people can resist the American attacks and aggression and will withstand this period of war. It has also become clear that the Islamic Republic of Iran has friends like Russia who stand by Iran in difficult conditions and support it. We are very grateful for your concern and support. It has also become clear that the Iranian people have friends like Russia who stand by Iran in difficult conditions and support it. We are very grateful for your concern and support. I would like to thank you sincerely for taking the time to visit the Russian Federation during the first tour. Araqi's trip and those words underline Tehran's aim to solidify external B. Acting while negotiations with Washington remain stalled. AlJazeera.com make https://www.alljazeera.com/amp/news/2/Murian-Russia-Putin-talks?. UT mean for the conflict. UT Mares back in the Gulf, the US Navy and other American agencies have been operating an increasingly assertive campaign. One dramatic episode occurred when a US guided missile destroyer, the USS Rafael Peralta, moved to intercept a tanker identified as MT Stream after the ship attempted to sail toward an Iranian port. USS Central Command framed that interception as part of the wider blockade and enforcement activities aimed at preventing Iranian crude from reaching markets via routes. Washington considers illicit or sanction evading. The action, photographed and circulated by military channels, was presented as a straightforward demonstration of resolve. Shadow the target, stop the movement, and signal that attempts to slip past the enforcement line would be met with force and legal measures. News.tv each https://wnews.tv/index.php/n/world/948 468-Navy-Intercepts-another-Iranian-oil-tanker ? UT_source equals OpenEye. Iran's response to American interdictions has been fierce and public. The Foreign Ministry, speaking through spokesman Esmail Bagher, lambasted the US actions in language meant to shock and to frame Washington as an outlaw at sea. Esmail Bagher said this is the outright legalization of piracy and armed robbery on the high seas. Welcome to the return of the pirates. Only now they operate with government-issued warrants, sail under official flags, and call their plunder law enforcement. The United States must be held fully accountable for this brazenly lawless behavior, which strikes at the heart of international law and international free trade, and threatens the basic principles of maritime security. That line captures the rhetorical strategy Tehran has chosen: portray the American campaign as illegitimate, and mobilize regional opinion and legal arguments against what it calls a unilateral American overreach. english.cnkt/english.cn/english.cntang/2026 0428/2A66083EIII 434-5000 9757776 8597776. See 816/c.html UT_source equals OpenEye AI. Practical maritime analysis tells a more complicated story than slogans. Satellite imagery and independent tanker tracking firms report that while the blockade has disrupted conventional shipping, it has not entirely stopped Iran from moving crude. A recent assessment by maritime analysts found that about 4.6 million barrels of crude were loaded at Iranian export terminals after the blockade was announced, and roughly 4 million barrels appear to have been carried through covert or circuitous routes that evaded checkpoints or went dark by switching off tracking transponders. Those numbers, drawn from open satellite, AIS, and port activity data, suggest Tehran's export network has adapted transfers at sea, the use of third-party intermediaries, and deliberate tracking gaps have kept revenue flowing even as risk are. Samdo opacity rise. Iranental.com https://www.iranental.com/n/2026 0426646. $UTOOM_source equals OpenEye. That adaptability is precisely why the sight of a superyacht tied to a sanctioned Russian billionaire matters. It is not just about luxury. It is about the persistence of complex networks that connect cash, influence, and movement. The Nord's voyage through Hormuz is worth scrutiny because it undercuts a neat narrative that sanctions and blockades are airtight. It raises questions: who granted passage approvals? Was the transit vetted by regional authorities who routinely clear pleasure craft? Was the vessel monitored as it crossed into Omani waters? Those procedural questions matter because they speak to enforcement gaps and to the delicate diplomacy that underpins any maritime operation in a contested corridor. Superyacht to Fordite TTPS://www.UP/RYACHT2Fordite /n/2026/04/26/il-chike -nonostan